G'day and welcome back to RC Model Reviews, another fixed wing Friday, and what I've got today is the Drifter. Now this is a small lightweight plug and fly, just put a receiver in and fly it more or less model, and it's not a new model, it's been around for quite some time. I've seen reviews and videos on YouTube going back to 3 or 4 years ago, so it's not brand new, it's not a latest release, but I wanted to review this because it's going to become an integral part of a virtual reality setup that I'm working on with Ron. And if you don't know who Ron is, you need to go and have a look at my XJet channel. Search for the virtual, well, I don't know what I've called the video. I'll put a link in the description. Go to the description of this video. There'll be a link to a video which will explain why I want this plane. I want to review it because our virtual reality chair is going to have a transmitter built into it. So you'll have a normal joystick, full-size joystick, throttle stick, pedals, and virtual reality in so much as you will have a video visor or video goggles with head tracking, and you'll be flying this. And I say I chose this because it looks like it's a wonderfully slow flying, easy to fly model, and also it has an open cockpit, so I can put a camera in there, an FPV camera with pan and tilt. So we should be able to get a really lifelike experience. We're going to invite a whole lot of full-size pilots to have a go on it and see what they think. That's what we plan to do. So I thought, hey, let's get one of these, let's review it, and let's put it into that role, see how it performs. So that's what I did. And thumbs up to Banggood, that way, thumbs up to Banggood, who sent one for review. And unlike the, the Sky Shadow, which I have already spoken of, the Drifter is much more plug and fly. Now the Sky Shadow is supposed to be plug and fly, but yeah, it's basically an ARF with a lot of extra bits in it that you would have otherwise had to buy. So it's more of a build and fly than a plug and fly. But this is truly a plug and fly. Here's the wing, okay? You can see it's got scalloped surface here, so it looks like it's got ribs in it, but it's just an EPO molding. And one thing I noticed is it's really kind of wibbly wobbly. Look at this, woo, 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 woo. And that's not important actually, because this is a very light model. And also, if we look underneath here, there are attachments for struts. There are wing struts, which will stiffen the wing enormously when it's mounted on the fuselage. Comes with the servo installed. Even the horns are installed, which is great, because a lot of plug and flies, you actually still have to install the actual horns. Fuselage itself, not a lot to do on this either. Look at this. It's a rather nice arrangement. It's got a molded EPO front end here. Little windscreen already installed. And as I said, see, it's got an open canopy here, so I can put my head tracking FPV camera up here. I could even put a pilot in if I wanted. The battery goes in here, and look, there's an instrument panel. Well, there's some stickers that look like an instrument panel anyway. So yeah, plenty of room to mount all the FPV tracking equipment there. Fantastic. It's got a 2200 kV brushless motor, 15 amp ESC. It's designed for 2-cell operation, but I've seen them flying with 3, so we'll try it with 2. Maybe we'll go to 3. Cheap, budget servos, look like 9-gram servos. And a trip back to the 1970s, we've got a Dean's connector, which will go in the bin, and I'll put an XT60 on it. Now it's a full house model, which basically means it's got elevated rudder, aileron and throttle control, which is great. We've got thin wires go off to the empennage, which is a French word that means the tail. And I have the parts of the tail here. Here's one part, ding, that's the vertical stabilizer, molded EPO, and yeah, I've just worked the hinge, so it's quite free enough to be used. Doesn't come with the horn installed, you've got to do that yourself. Oh, and here is the tailplane. Now I've had that sitting on the bench because unfortunately, look at that, it's got a bit of a bobble in it, it's got a bit of a bend in it. It's a lot less than it was. When it came out of the box, it had a huge bend in it. That's because, probably won't be able to see it, but it looks like they've dropped something on it here. There is a kind of a crease line in here where something heavy's been put on this, and it's got a bit of a bend on it. So I'm going to have to try and straighten that. See, it's got a bend on it, it's a bit warped. Have to straighten that out before I put it on the model. Another thing I noticed is there's a little wire torque rod in here, and when I turn this, look at the back here, it's none too effective, is it? In fact, the little wire thing, you can see it actually comes out of the foam here. It's not really well installed. So I just have to put a bit of CA in there or something just to hold that in there. Not a big deal. Getting the warp out might be a little bit harder because she's quite an aggressive warp in there. Might have to use a bit of heat, a bit of pressure, get rid of that. Never mind. Probably won't make much difference because it is a slow flying model. And I mentioned wing struts. Here are those wing struts. There's 4 of them. They're thin. They look like carbon. Are they carbon? A bit heavy for carbon. I don't know. They may be carbon. They may be plastic. I think they're plastic. Just plastic. Don't have to be strong. They're under tension, not under pressure. Now, also get a bag of miscellaneous bits. There's a collet for the motor. There's wheels, and it's a tail dragger. Yay! We all love tail draggers, right? And there are a box of nuts and bolts and screws and other struts and bits and pieces there. All very good. And as you saw right at the beginning, there is a printed manual, which makes life much easier when you're trying to build this thing. This manual actually does two models. It does the, was it the Drifter and something else, the Sky something or other. Anyway, has in the back, it says like pilot, but I didn't get a pilot. Oh, sucks the big time. And I didn't get any glue either, worth noting. Didn't get glue or a pilot. So I think maybe this was a short form kit. I don't know. But anyway, I've got glue. I'm not too worried about a pilot because I'm going to put FPV gear in there. No biggie. Right. So there you go. That is the Drifter. And I'll be putting this together. Not much of a job really, is it? But I'll be putting it together, getting it flying the next day. The reason we didn't have the Sky Shadow flight review today is because it's blowing a gale, 41 km/h winds, and it's also very cold. I've got my winter shirt back on. Look, it's supposed to be summer, and I'm dressed up in winter gear because it's just freezing cold here today. Hopefully the summer will arrive. I had a few fleeting glimpses of it, but nothing consistent. So as soon as the weather settles a bit, we'll do the Sky Shadow S800 flight test, and also this one, which I'm really looking forward to. We'll do a line of sight, we'll do an FPV flight, then we'll set up the chair and we'll do virtual reality flight with head tracking, FPV camera, and the real full-size control stick. As I say, links in the description of this video as always, and thank you to Banggood for sending this in for review, and it'll be a priority because when the wind stops, I want to fly this from the chair. Now if you've got questions, comments, anything to say at all, then please put them in the usual place. I'll do my best to answer and address them. Another Fixed Wing Friday. Sorry it wasn't a very flash one, but the weather has defeated me again. But I said, come rain, hail or snow, you will get a Fixed Wing Friday. This is it for today. Stay tuned. More to come. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.